Hello and welcome to the Be Formless Flow Driven CEO podcast. I am welcoming to the show today all the way, I'll just say from Colorado, John, just for the purpose of the viewers, but Colorado, John Garrett. Welcome to the show, John.
Yeah, thanks so much, B. I'm excited to be here for sure.
Yeah, me too. Me too. I'm looking at you and I'm almost sweating because it's so hot here in Australia right now. Like we're just like about to hit 40 plus degrees, right, in the next couple of
Oh,
days.
wow.
I don't know
Yeah.
what that is in Fahrenheit. And then here you are looking rugged up and nice and cozy, and I'm like sweating because it's so
Yeah, it's kind of it's pretty nice actually for winter here right now.
yeah,
But yeah, it'll start rolling in here soon. That's for
yeah,
sure.
yeah, nice.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at your backdrop, and I should have mentioned that pre-show. It looks incredible. You've got all these ands, which I absolutely love. It gets my curiosity piqued and intrigued.
Yeah.
And that's what we're going to, essentially talk a lot about today because you're the keynote speaker and author of What's Your And, and obviously the ands around here, where you unlock the person within the professional. Love that. And you're the host of the long running. You said you have done 700 episodes, and that's
Yeah, it's
just
700 something. Yeah, yeah,
700
absolutely.
plus. Let's
It's
just say
yeah,
700 plus, which,
that
which is
works. Yeah.
consistent. It's a no
Yeah.
small feat having your own podcast. It says, What's Your Ant podcast? You're a CPA turned a stand-up comedian, and you help leaders redefine professional by inviting people to bring their outside of work professions to work. Love it. So you're
Yeah.
building connection, culture, and performance. You're also a two-time Emmy nominee and creator of the Connected Culture System for sustaining the practice beyond the keynote. Tell us,
Yeah.
like there's a lot to unpack in that.
There's a lot of questions, I'm sure, no doubt.
But I
So
don't
what do you
think you
got?
tell
And I'm
us your
ready.
story. Tell us your story and then I'll ask questions.
Well, I don't know how many episodes you want to go into here or how much of an intervention you want this to be. Did someone send you? I feel like this is this is like and like we're here to fix you, John.
Yeah.
Yeah, I graduated from the University of Notre Dame with an accounting degree, went to Big Four with PricewaterhouseCoopers for several years. And then picked up a little bit of a hobby of doing stand-up comedy just for fun, a creative outlet, just something that was different than work, and got good. So I left in it was May of 2005 when I left corporate altogether and went full-time stand-up. Wrote two Emmy-nominated award shows, have a comedy album on Sirius and Pandora, and did some pretty big stuff. Then I had
Wow.
some near misses, and I just got frustrated with the entertainment machine. And so I decided to marry corporate John with comedy John. And that's really where the keynote speaking came about. And I was emceeing, doing a little bit of after dinner entertainment at a pretty big conference. And the meeting professional comes up right before I'm about to go on stage and says, "Hey, do you know a guy named Mark Bumgarner?" And I'm like, "No, no, I don't, but can it wait? Because they're gonna
Got to
say
go
my
on
name."
stage.
Like, right, exactly. They're miking me up. Like,
Yeah.
what the heck is wrong with you? And she keeps going, and well, he knows you. He saw all the speakers and said, "Oh, I know John Garrett. That's the guy who did comedy at night." And so then I go out on stage and I'm like, "Who the heck is this guy? Like, how do you remember me? Do I owe you $50? Like, what's going on?" And like, "Are you Rain Man? Like, how do you remember so many things?" And so I get off stage after, I look on my phone, we're not connected on LinkedIn, but he was in my first PwC office and he was in the tax department. So I never met him. I never worked with
Wow.
him. I never went to the tax floor. I'm one of the cool CPAs that doesn't know how taxes work at all.
I like
So, and yeah. And so, but he remembered me for a hobby that I did outside of work for fun. And so that's when I started to ask people like, "Hey, do you have a hobby outside of work?" And they, most people do. My research has shown 92% of professionals have a hobby or passion outside of work.
How many?
Um,
90% did you say?
92, 92.
92. Gosh,
Yeah,
that's a
yeah,
lot.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
92 to 8.
Yeah.
But for so long, the 8% has bullied the 92% to shut your
Yeah.
mouth.
Yeah.
And if you have something, first of all, why? You should be doing more work with your free time. And
Yeah.
second of all, if you do have something, why are you talking about it? Like,
Yeah.
shut your mouth, type of
Yeah.
thing. And so then I found out like so many people have these awesome hobbies that they love to do, and they don't have to be, they're not side hustles. They're just it's something
Yeah.
that brings me joy.
Can I ask you that?
You know, and I'm not doing it for you. I'm not doing it to impress anyone. I just do it for me. You know, I am I an amazing pianist? No, but I like to play the piano. So who
Yeah.
cares? You
Yeah.
know, like in but in this hustle culture world of, well, it has to be world record breaking, or it has to be, you know, you make money at it, or it has no, it doesn't have to be any of those things. Actually, it's better if it's none of those things,
Mm,
and it's just a hobby. It's just
mm,
something that brings you joy that you can't not do because your soul is singing for it.
mm.
That's really where that comes from. And so that's where what's your and comes in is, you know, I was a CPA and a comedian. It's not an or, it's I'm all those things
Yeah.
and many other dimensions to who we are as a human being. And for some reason, as professionals, the more degrees and certifications and letters after our names we get, the more siloed we become to I'm an attorney or I'm a CEO. And it's like,
So
no, you're
true.
not.
Yeah.
You're a human being that does CEO work. You're
Yeah.
not a CEO. You're a human being with all these other dimensions to who you are. So let's look at you as a bigger, more powerful, multidimensional being. And work is a small piece of that when you
Yeah.
really think about it. But we allow work to become our full
Everything.
identity. And I
Yeah.
love Carl Jung has an amazing quote where he says, the world will ask you who you are. And if you don't know, then the world will tell you. And
Mm.
that's the thing is we lose our identity and all of our education and all of our CPE and all of our work and all of our CLE and all the continuing education, all the things. We lose ourselves.
Mm.
And then the world tells you you're a CEO. And you're like, well, I guess that's what I am. I don't know what else I am. And it's like, no, 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 upside down, wrong. You're a human being first. And
Yeah.
then you're a
It's so
CEO
cool.
fifth,
Yeah.
maybe.
I
So
have to ask, did
yeah.
you end up, I can't, you've just been mentioning the guy's name, but did you end up meeting him after after your presentation?
You know
After
what? I've never met Mark. I've never met
Mark?
him. It was like a 900 person conference. It was huge. I couldn't find him. And he was in my first PwC office. I had since moved. But I've met people that do know Mark and absolutely, you know, everything. And I've reached out to him on LinkedIn and we shared a couple of messages. And I just said, thanks, you know, because you planted the seed that became this whole movement
Yes.
of human beings that are professionals,
Talk about a
type of thing.
serendipitous moment like that. Just
Oh,
like,
yeah.
for you to then to go right. And so that was it. You literally then started asking all these questions. And then
Yeah.
how did you come to your book and the movement? Like in terms of you doing all this research.
It's
So yeah.
it's wild, because it's my story, but I truly believe it's our collective story.
Yeah.
Everyone listening to this has a hobby or a passion that they do now or they used to love to do.
Mm.
And there's still a part of you that's singing for that and wants that and needs that. And so I believe it's our message. It's not just like I climbed Mount Kilimanjaro and well, I'm not climbing a mountain. Like that's not my thing, but we all have something that lights us up.
Mm.
And so that's where, it's easy for it to be this movement that I completely underestimated. And so the book came about because people, after hearing me speak at conferences, hey, my boss isn't here and she really needs to hear this message, or he really needs to hear this. Do you have a book? And after enough people ask,
You
you're
kind
like,
of
well,
think you have to write
I
it.
guess I have to write a book,
Yeah.
because I was like, who writes books? Like old
Mm.
people with tweed coats and patches on their elbows?
Mm.
Like not me. Like this is weird. And so yeah, so it took about 2 years to write the book, and used a lot of anecdotes from the podcast to support what I was writing. And then since it's won several publishing awards, it was named a distinguished favorite from the Independent Press Awards and some other
Wow.
cool stuff, featured in Forbes. And yeah, so it's like, oh wow, this is like legit. And so it's pretty neat
It's so
to know
legit
that you're
though.
making a difference. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so legit because it's you actually listening to you reminds me of I was doing a master workshop a while ago now, and it was like bringing your personal brand identity to life. And my background's advertising and communications,
Yeah.
so I used all the skills from that. And I think there was about 200 people in the masterclass. It was a big one, and it was basically around. I asked everyone to put their hand up, and who had an elevator pitch around what they did, and I was talking about authenticity and like more than just work, inside out, etc. And I'll never forget,
Yeah.
one girl came up to me afterwards and she turned around and she talked to me and she said, look, I'm an engineer. And she said, but I do dancing outside of work. And I said, amazing. And I'm like, oh, that's so cool. Like, you're a project manager, engineer. I think that's what she said. And I said, oh, I love the fact that the two come together in creativity. And she's just looking at me and she's like, I'm not allowed to talk about my dancing at work.
Oh, it's
And
crazy.
like it looked like the soul had been drawn out of her, but when she was
Yeah.
talking about this dancing, she was just so lit up. But she
Yeah.
said, I work in this environment that I can't talk about it. And I'm like talking about how the two work together, and I can
Oh,
see
yeah. It
how
makes her
like
better at her
project
job.
management and
Absolutely.
creativity. And she's just
Yeah.
like going like this. And so you must have had that a lot when you were doing your research in terms
Well,
of
I would challenge her a bit just to say, how much of that is in her head
yeah,
saying that she can't talk about it, or how
yeah,
much
good
is it
point.
explicitly told
Mm,
to her
mm,
from, or is it just that leaders ahead of her don't model that behavior?
mm,
So, it could be that it's explicit and you can't share, and that it's frowned upon, and that anyone that does is punished or what have you. But I believe that 99.9% of the time it's in our own head that
yeah.
we think that no one cares. It has nothing to do with
Um,
my job. Like we don't get paid to socialize, all those lies that we tell ourselves. I mean, the way that Mark found out about me, he worked on a totally different floor, was because it just got out. Somebody's like, "Hey, what'd you do over the weekend?" "Oh, well, I drove to Springfield, Illinois and did a comedy shows at the Funny Bone there for the weekend." And then people were like, "Wait, you did what?" And I was like, "Oh, well, I didn't know you were supposed to lie, and just say, 'Oh, I did nothing.'" It's like, well, that's what I did, and then it just spreads like wildfire when you're a human being, because there's no color at work. It's so gray. And so even just a little bit of color, a little bit of light, just shines so brightly and so vibrantly that out of 200 people that were at this masterclass, you remember the one who's the dancer and the engineer. You don't remember, is she a good engineer? You don't even know, and you also don't care. She's a dancer. You got
well,
to see her alive,
yeah, that's what
like
I was so
talking about
excited
dancing.
about. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
and that's kind
So
of like,
imagine that everywhere in all of the organization, like how amazing of a place to be.
yeah. So tell us a little bit about that then, because you have you have this connected culture system, and also you're all around reshaping the professional. Do those two interconnect in any way, shape, or form? Because I mean, if you're able to bring your well, I said to you pre-show, I used to say to my staff, bring your Saturday self to work. Like what you do on
Yeah,
Saturday, I want you to behave like that in the office. Like it shouldn't be any different. You shouldn't have work hat on and you shouldn't have personal life hat on. Like they're both
right.
interconnected. That for me is that inside out approach to who you are, right? Like bring your true
Yeah,
authentic self. Like,
yeah. Yeah,
yeah,
or sometimes even like I'll explain it to people like a dice. It's got six sides, or if you play D&D, it's got however many sides you want. And at any point, one side is up, but the other five didn't go away. The other sides are still there.
yeah,
So
that's
just
cool.
because you're at work doesn't mean the dancer side of you is gone. It's still there. And so you can't ask people to come in to a setting and not be part of who they are on a
Yeah,
deeper level. In the same way that when she's dancing, there's still an engineer side of her, I'm
yeah,
sure,
yeah.
that's analyzing things or looking at things in a certain way that other people don't look at things. But it makes her better at her job, and
Hmm.
she's got skills that other people don't have. They both have the same engineering degree, let's say, but her dancing skills give her a different skill set than someone who loves thousand piece jigsaw puzzles, let's say,
Hmm.
or someone, if she's been on stage, I'm sure she's in front of an audience, she's totally fine with that. If you love jigsaw puzzles, that's not your thing.
No.
So if you have a presentation to give, maybe the dancer should be on the short list of people to give the presentation because she's good in front of an audience.
Yeah.
But if you don't know that side of her, then you're going to pick the jigsaw puzzle lady because she's been here longest or some stupid reason. And then, then nothing good happens from that.
Yeah.
And so it's just understanding fully like what it is that lights people up on a deeper level and really tapping into that. And at the end of the day, it's how do I make someone be their best version of
Mm.
themselves?
Mm.
And if it's here at this organization, then that's great. And if, sometimes I love to have my clients, during like a stay interview every year, just ask people, why are you still here? Like, what are we doing well that we should do more of? And what are we doing not so well that we should probably think about changing? And just do that every year. And just find out why, people love it here or why people think things should change or what have you. But even during that, it's what's your dream job? And find that out. And how can I help you get your dream job?
Yeah.
And be ready for their dream job to not be a partner at the accounting firm or whatever your executive level, job is. They don't want that job. Okay, great. What job do you want and how can I help you get that? And then now the elephant's out in the room and we can all address it and I can help you get the job. And when you get it, like everybody wins because I'm going to know you're going to get it way in advance. So I can start hiring ahead. You can train the new person. There's zero dip in client service or productivity or anything. But nowadays it's, I don't care, just shut up and get your work done. And then out of nowhere, someone's like, I'm leaving in 2 weeks. What? I had no idea. I'm shocked. And I'm like, well, I'm not. Like,
Yeah,
you don't even talk to
totally.
this person,
Totally.
or anything,
I
so
love
it's
that.
just really, how do we weave
Yeah.
those in to
Yeah, and I
work?
love the stay interview. That's cool. Like in terms of just like let's have a conversation around, what's working, what needs improving, etc.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
you also tapped into something in terms of just like, and we were talking about this pre-show, like the pressure we put on ourselves as well to be like always performing and this expectation. And we're in the start of a new year, and we were both having a bit of a giggle. And I'm looking at everything from I'm purposely stepping back at the moment, watching it all, just going, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
it's like go go go, like what are you doing? Like plan plan plan, and I'm like.
Right.
Can we just not like even some of the calls I was copying yesterday, first day back, and I was like, you know what? It's the 5th of January. Like I'm actually doing this test on myself, this experiment on myself this year, because generally I'm the one going in full guns a blazing and like, what am I doing? But then this year I'm just like, just gonna let just gonna like enjoy this time and just
Yeah.
ease my way into it, like, talk about hobbies. I was doing my own things yesterday while I was working, thinking this is, like this is what I should be doing, right? This is how I should be right now. And you
Yeah.
also said, which you haven't said on the show, but you did say pre-show, let the universe do its job a bit.
Yeah, trust the universe.
Trust the
Absolutely. And
universe.
trust something bigger than you. Like you don't have to do all the things all the time.
No.
That's exhausting and it'll break you. And your nervous system is on code red nonstop. And it's hard. It's something that I'm still unlearning, if you will. Even, but it's just understanding like, hey, you don't have to be on all the time. And everything you do doesn't have to be revenue producing or hustling or whatever. Sometimes it's great to just, you know what, I'm just going to go to a concert and just enjoy it and just be in the moment and just enjoy the music and be a part of the crowd and the whole energy of it all. And, and not think about work and not think about what I need to do tomorrow and, just be in the moment and just live. I mean, the odds that we exist on Earth right now are so astronomically high. Like it's crazy that we even exist, like you and me as human beings. I mean, our great grandparents had to meet at a certain time, and then our grandparents all had to meet at a certain time, and then our parents had to meet at a certain time, and then here we are, and all of this has to happen for us to go, you know what, my whole destiny is just to work as much as possible and to just make a gazillion dollars. And it's like, no, that's not why life exists. Like, it's not at all. Like, live life. And
Mm.
work is part of that. And being good at your job and liking your job and being proud of the work you do is definitely a part of that. I'm not belittling that at all,
No, gosh,
but I'm just
neither.
saying that's not it. There,
No.
that's just entry. There's so much more to who you are as a human being that, your work is 10 to 15% of who you are. Really? If you think about it, you got friends and faith and
Mm,
family and hobbies and passions and interests and your dog. I mean, like all these cool things that matter
mm.
that, but it's so easy for us for that 10 to 15% to become 100%
Yeah.
in no time. And so it's just a little tap to break of who else are you beyond the job title?
Yeah. And I
Yes,
think
you're
that's probably
that,
where
but who else?
yeah,
You
and I
know?
think that's probably what I'm doing this purposely at the start of this year. Just going like let's just go into it with like a little less expectation, shall we?
Yeah,
And
and I'll be
still
curious
be
to see what happens.
yeah,
If,
yeah,
a year from now you're like, "Oh, I'm homeless and destitute." No, I promise you won't be. Like you're going to be calm and chill, and I bet you'll even have a better year because
yeah,
you're more alive and more in touch with who you are as a human, as B, as
yeah.
opposed to as job title B.
Yeah. And because you must, have you had like much resistance when you've shared this like point of view and like human being first? Because like you've called out a couple of times, and I want to talk about that as well. It's, like the current state of play in the workforce, in the world, in the corporate world is still, we see a lot of like prevent burnout, this and that. But I still think there's a lot of surface level band-aiding going on in my
Oh
my
yeah.
honest opinion. And it's still very much hit your margins, hit your numbers, hustle, hustle.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you just called out around the staff, like, oh, they've just quit and you're like and they're like had no idea and you're like, really? Like how could you not see that coming sort of thing? So it's like
Right?
it's this blinker, 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 right? Oh, I better
Yeah.
look up. Shit. Everything's just
Right?
hit the fan sort of thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like what
Oh, I
how
have
did
to come out from behind my desk as a leader? What? I have to go talk to people? Like what? That's weird.
yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's wild how most of the time, and when I say most, almost all the time, people feel liberated. They feel like, like I didn't know that I was able to even think this way, let alone talk this way. So thank you for this. Like I always, when I'm on stage as a keynote speaker, I'm on assignment. There's someone in that room, and oftentimes a massive percentage of that room that is, I'm here to serve, and you need to hear this. And then there's the other percentage that they need to hear it, but they're triggered, and it's because their ego steps in and their ego says, whoa, 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 whoa. Don't let that human out from behind the job title. Do not job title. Like, look how smart we are and look at our degrees and all these certifications. And the ego like just steps in. And it's wild when like the people that lash out the hardest are the ones who, and it doesn't happen often, but it's the ones who think that no one else has no one else has a hobby or a passion. I've been working with these people for 10 plus years. No one talks about hobbies. So we all don't have hobbies. I don't have a hobby because I'm all work all the time. And then all of a sudden I come in and it starts popcorn of like, oh, this person likes cycling. This person loves ballet. This person likes to go to concerts. This person loves their dog. This person, and then that individual is stuck with, I got nothing. I didn't know all of you were doing these things because we never talked about it, but now all of a sudden it's coming out. And so then a lot of shame and a lot of embarrassment they feel. And so it's like, well, it's that doesn't mean you have to shut it down for everybody. Like just because you don't have one doesn't mean that everyone else can't, that's terrible. But that's what I see happen. When it does get shut down, it's always somebody who doesn't have an and that feels embarrassed and shameful that they don't. And so I'm very careful to let people know, like, it's okay if you don't. There's the 8% that don't. That's fine. But there's the 92% that do, and that's
Mm,
also fine.
mm.
So it's, you just need to realize that we're human beings and we have these other dimensions to who we are. So more times than not, it's a liberation. It's a reprieve. It's thank goodness, and they can relax and they can just be human and smile and all of a sudden people are sharing their hobbies and their passions like at a conference, like strangers that they don't even know each other and in companies that I do the connected culture system with. What's your and just becomes part of the vernacular.
Yeah.
Like, people just, it's part of the language here now. Like we just talk about ands and, oh, you have a new and. Like it becomes a noun in their
Yeah.
language set,
Yeah.
which is pretty cool.
Yeah, because it's so important, isn't it? And like just on that 92 to 8%, I still think, I'm sure you would agree, maybe not, but that 8%, when you have those people that feel triggered. I remember 3 years ago and I was literally hitting rock bottom after being in a career for as long as I was. And it was an identity crisis or, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
And I didn't have anything. Like I was just soulless. Like it was the worst, most empty feeling I think I can't even explain how empty I felt because I didn't have
Yeah.
an and. And it
Yeah.
was just this profound moment. I was just like, I don't even know why I exist right now. And
Yeah.
so for that 8%, and I'm sure you talk to that 8% about that, that you can, just because I felt shame, utter shame. I was just like, I've got nothing. Like, this is, what have I done? Like, I've hit the top of my game, but what have I got? Like, here I am, and I'm just so unfulfilled. You can find your and. It does, just because you don't
Oh,
necessarily have one. Like, you must
it's
talk
very
about
easy.
that a lot with that
Oh
8%,
yeah,
right? Like,
go back to what did you love to do when you were a kid? What did you love to do when you were in
yeah,
college and university? What did you love to do before you were married? Like before you had kids? Like, well, it's not something you have to do every day. It's not
no.
something that, a good question is, if I told you you couldn't do that again, how would that go? And
Mm,
if you're like, ooh, that would suck. Like then that's probably one of the things that you should probably look into doing more.
yeah.
Ask your friends, ask your partners, ask your spouse, like what do I love to do? Like what lights me up? And they'll tell you. That's for sure. And it doesn't have to be something that you do every day or every week or every month. It could be a once a year. Like I love American college football. It's only 3 months a
Yeah, I can see
year.
the helmet at the
There's a
back.
season. Yeah, absolutely. There's a season. When it's not in season, it's tough, But I have other things that I love to do too. But when it's in season, oh man, like I'm a lot. Like that's it. Like that's what it's all about. I'm going to games. I bring my wife and my daughter to games. Like we're that's the thing. We
It's
just
tribal, isn't
they
it? It's
yeah,
become,
they don't necessarily love it, but they know I love it, so we're going. Or if there's a big game that I just got a last minute ticket to or whatever, well, I'm gonna go, and you guys, I'll be back tomorrow. See ya, type of thing.
yeah.
But I just curious, like the bee before versus the bee now. Like, how's it feel?
Oh gosh, so different. Like, I feel so lit up from the inside out. I mean, that's kind of what, like,
Yeah,
yeah, I was like, and I look at pictures of myself and I look at myself and I think it comes through physically. It comes through, like,
totally.
yeah, I feel whole, like, and it comes back to even what I was saying about yesterday. Like, it's bizarre. Like, to look at me going even a year ago to now, like, even just being so chill and just so like, yeah, okay, cool. Like, I don't have to be out there on social media or doing whatever. I'm not feeling the
Right.
pressure like I used to, because I feel fulfilled. Like, I feel, yeah, I've got my ands. I've got quite a few, but like, it's just,
Yeah.
like, yeah. And even like I was saying to you before, the little and this morning was walking the puppy, and then I see you pop through, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna get back. But I wasn't
Right.
freaking out or stressing out. I was just like, yeah, yep, I'll send it to you, like, whatever. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I think I'm still very, like, put it this way, I'm still, work will always play like a part of my existence,
Sure.
right? It just is who I am.
Yeah.
It's what mum's always said to me. You'll always work. You'll always do something, no matter what I can't imagine you
Yeah.
ever just, I don't know, But at the end of the
Yeah.
day, it used to be, what did it used to be? My life used to fit into my work.
Mm,
Now my
yeah.
work fits into my life. And
There you
that
go.
took me
Yeah.
a long time. And like you, I'm still learning certain things around calm down, or, like, take the pressure off. Like,
Yeah.
I'm constantly working on it, but it's such a 360 from where I was, like, so different. Yeah.
Yeah, well, in a huge step in that, and a lot of the like one-to-one coaching that I do and integral theory certification stuff that I got certified in, but is really your ability to look at yourself from above as an observer, and
Yeah.
then to realize, oh, wait a minute, freak out B is coming back. Hold
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
And so the fact that you're even able to recognize that is a huge, huge
Yeah.
step. And so, that's where, just our ability to just step in and be like, whoa, hold on. Like I'm getting out of control here. Like I'm just
Yeah.
getting off the rails on like who I am. So let's just dial this down for a second and just recalibrate, take a, couple of deep breaths, and let's see what happens,
Yeah.
type of thing.
I love
So,
that bird's eye
so
view, being able to have that bird's eye view of yourself. Tell us a
yeah.
little bit about you're the creator of the connected culture system for sustaining the practice. Like, tell us a little bit about
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's basically, imagine if EOS was culture only. So it's really just going in and sort of as an outsourced chief culture officer kind of role, and or just, hey, I'll get you started and then you guys can run with it if you have a team that can do that. But it's working with co-creating with someone over a year to 2 years to just how do we implement little things to get people partially what's your and related, but
Mm,
also just in general. Just looking at the culture in those moments. And I usually start with an employee journey map where we look at through the employee's eyes. What does it look like before they've even heard of your organization? They don't
mm,
even know you exist, all the way through recruiting, through onboarding, through the employee experience, and even exit. Like, what does that journey look like through their eyes? Like, what are their feelings? What are their thoughts and their emotions? What are through those different phases? And how can we get ahead of that? And how can we embrace them and meet them where they're at and kind of create those moments that matter to make it something that people want to be a part of and stay and want their friends to come be a part of as well. And it's not a huge, I'm not talking about like massive dollar investments. I'm talking about just caring and just doing things that matter
mm,
intentionally,
mm.
routinely,
Yeah.
I guess, is really it. And
Yeah.
it's all the way from recognizing that when somebody accepts an offer, well, that's when onboarding starts. It doesn't start the day they walk in the door. It starts
No.
the day they accepted that offer.
Yeah.
So in between then and them coming in the door, what are some things that we can do to let them know? Like, man, we are so jazzed to have you join our team. Like, I cannot wait to meet you tomorrow when you come in or next week or whatever. Like, what are things that we can do? And then even when they start, it's a good, 3 to 6 months
Life
of
cycle. Yeah.
onboarding and how do we make sure that they feel welcome and all that. And then even, through the employee experience, doing stay interviews, like things like this that but it's also thinking up ideas from the team and getting kind of a culture committee to, which
Yeah.
is very different than a fun committee. But a
I
culture
agree.
committee to what ideas do you have? And then I can punch them up or twist them or combine them or what have you. And then, keeping leadership abreast and, just creating an environment where you want to be. That's really it. And
Yeah.
there's simple little things of just, how do we just get more human here
Yeah, it's that
and
human-centric,
more
isn't it?
productive?
Yeah,
Oh,
and
very
more
much,
and more
very much.
productive. A couple
Yeah.
of things have just popped up for me, and you're going to think I am so random, but have you ever thought about this? Could a business have a what have their like a collective? Could they have an ant? Like, could a business have
Oh,
have like? Do you look at it like that as
very
well?
much.
Like, yeah.
Very much. There are some organizations that have done, like, for instance, one, again, there's an accounting firm where they do Habitat for Humanity, and that's their big thing. And so they'll take a day off of work, like every quarter, I believe, and go and help build a home for charity. And so that's their thing. There's another organization, they do furniture moving for offices. So if you're moving offices or if you're redoing the carpet or whatever, and they need to break down cubicles and desks and office furniture moving company, and the owner used to be in fashion, and he believes everyone deserves a good pair of shoes. So on your 1 month, the month of your annual anniversary, if you will, he takes everyone to lunch, whose anniversary it is, and then they go to like a really nice department store like Saks Fifth Avenue or some really nice store, and he buys everyone a pair of shoes, and he asks them, who's this for? Is it for your kid? Is it for you, your spouse, whatever? And then, why this pair of shoes, whatever. And that's his thing. And but he also gets one-on-one time with every single person that works at this company over time, because every month he's got the new batch of people that their anniversary, for work is there. And that's his thing. And is it my thing? Not really, but that's super
Oh, I
cool.
love it. I'd love to
And if
go
it is your
shopping for a new
thing,
pair of shoes with my.
yeah, totally. I mean, like, how great is that? And it's just something small, but it matters to him. But it also gets people out of the office and gets them one-on-one time with the CEO, and he gets to know the people that are working for his organization, which is now is pretty large. And but I mean, you have blue collar office
Yeah.
furniture moving guys, that are at Saks Avenue buying a pair of shoes for their wife or whatever. And it's just, it's wild. But that's their thing. So yes, individually, we all have ands, and that's what's our differentiator at the end of the day. Our
Yeah.
differentiator is not, I'm smarter and faster and
No.
better. No, you're not. You're not. I promise you, I can find someone that's smarter and better at their job than you are. I promise you. But what's not replaceable is the combination of your technical skills and your hobbies and passions and personality, and you're human.
So
So
true.
you have to bring the two together to really make a difference. Otherwise, you're just a widget in a machine and we'll replace you. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter.
And I
And
always
maybe
think
by
about
AI even.
yeah.
like,
Yeah,
so
totally.
there's that.
And I always think about the collective as well. Like, by bringing all these ands together, like the individual ands, the
Oh,
creativity and the innovation, like you talked about more productivity, but this is when you can get into that really, I look at it like from a group flow, collective flow state where everyone gets to shine their brightest and they feel
yeah.
and they're performing at their best, right? Like I think that's like what we need to see more of in this new world we're in. And, especially as we're coming into this, well, we're in this year now, like it's just, let's be more human than ever. We need more human beings than ever.
Yeah, very much. I mean, especially with AI and all the tech and all the everything, like you have to bring more human. It's not like a teeter-totter where more AI means less human. It's no, more AI means you have to bring more human.
Mm,
You have to bring more to match it or exceed it,
mm.
or else it's just all going to be lost. And I mean, if you're the leader of an organization, would you want to look around your office and walk around your office and see fully activated human beings? Or do you want to walk around your office seeing a bunch of drones that are soulless, that just don't even look people in the eye? And I mean, you could decide. I know what I would choose, but it's up to you, and go create that. And it's not expensive, and it's not a massive
No,
overhaul.
I
It's
agree.
just being intentional with just making a place awesome, and just finding out what lights people up on a deeper level.
Agree. So what's next for you, John? What's the big plans for 2026? Is there a new book coming anytime soon, or is it continue? Like, I mean, obviously, what's your and? Is it a
Yeah.
big movement? What's happening with the movement this year? Or you don't want
Yeah,
to?
well, I think what's is just me getting out of the way more, taking the guardrails down, just trusting more in the universe and the bigger things, and just letting it rip. It's I mean, I've been doing a whole lot of the keynote speaking, but it's doing more of this connected culture system, more of
Mm,
realizing that, oh, I can make a difference through one-to-one coaching. I can make a difference through the connected culture system with an organization,
mm.
and really just leaning more into, hey, it's okay to be good at a couple of things, and I can help in a bunch of ways. And then also flirting with the idea of taking the podcast and turning it into kind of a TV show of sorts, where it's, let's go out and have me try to do your and let's try, like me try to play tennis or ski or paint
Oh,
or
that'd be
ballroom
cool.
dance or whatever it is, and then finding out like what is it, and then doing kind of the interview style, and just making it sort of a, kind of like Mike Rowe's Dirty Jobs, kind of a thing, but
Oh,
just,
good.
for professionals.
I love it.
So yeah, so that's really maybe what happens. We'll see.
Yeah. And I think it's a big thing, isn't it, to let the guardrails down a bit, especially if you're like I'm a type A. I like you. I've
Oh yeah,
always like to control, like be in control, and I think that's been my biggest learning. And hence the formless piece is like just be the ability to drop the guardrails and
yeah,
intentionally allow things just to, yeah, see what happens. But you still
right,
got plans, but you're just almost like allowing. And I think the more you allow, the more things open up. And I think that it
yeah,
takes a lot of courage and being brave to do so. But I'm sure, like you said to me before, this time next year, you'll be in a very different place to where you are now by loosening up those, letting the guardrails down a bit.
yeah,
Mm.
absolutely, yeah, very much.
Last question for you. What would be, what's my question? Or what's my, is it a question or is it an offering of, I guess an offering. What would be your offering to the audience in terms of let's focus on what's your and heading into 2026. What would be, or now that we're in it, what would be your offering to those that are they have an and, but they're not really, they've kind of just, it's just sitting, they're not doing anything with it, but they know they've got an
Sure.
and, but they've just almost like put it to the side. What would be your offering to
Yeah.
them, or what would you suggest to them?
Yeah, I mean, first off, give yourself some grace. Your current way of being has gotten you this far. Having your hand on the side or on the back burner or in a basement closet in a box, has gotten you this far. Um, so don't beat yourself up over it. Don't, flog, give yourself some grace and just start to gently let it out to play. I was speaking over the summer at it was an accounting conference for small firm practitioners, so a lot of smaller firm owners. And a guy comes up, he's mid 60s, very sharp dressed, like if Mad Men happened today with accountants. Like this guy was like on top of it. And right when he stepped to me, he just got emotional, just eyes flooded. And I was like, I don't even know you. Like, I want to hug you, but I don't want to get sued, like that type of thing. And he said, I made a lot of money, but so what? And I was like, well, hold on.
Oh gosh.
It served you well.
Yeah.
And I said, but what's an and? He said, I love to golf. Like I crazy love to golf. And he said, but I've only paid 27 holes this year, which is not a lot in case you're not a golfer.
I'm not a golfer,
And
so
so I
yeah.
was like, okay, well, you don't need to go play around at golf. You can just go to the driving range and get a small bucket of balls and your 7 iron and
Just
just
fashion.
whack away for like
Yeah.
15 or 20 balls. Like that's it. Like you don't have to go full 0 to 60. Like you can go just baby step. Just, hey, let's just go do this for a little bit. Or let's go and watch the sport that I used to love to do on TV even, or not even in person, just do it just a little bit and see what happens and really just sit with yourself and feel it, and get out of your head and get more into your heart and just really just see like, wow, like I've missed this. And how you described earlier of, the bee from a couple of years ago versus the bee now, and just start to feel that and acknowledge that these other parts of you are there and they matter just as much as the one that brings in the bills and the money.
Mm.
These other parts of you also matter just as much. And, there's a work you, don't abandon that. There's a home you, don't abandon that. But there's a you that's just you. And that you existed before work you even knew that was a thing, before you even knew that boys and girls or dogs and, whatever, like all the home pieces, like where you were just you before you even had a name, if you want to get really deep. And so, like, what is that you? And that's the you that we abandon, and that's the you that we've given up on first and in the quickest. And just go back and give that you a hug a little bit and let it out to play and see what happens.
Yeah, that's cool. I love that. It's so good. Like, yeah, you don't have to go full tilt. You can just like we're
No,
talking about. So start of the year, just let a little bit out to play and just like
I
see when
mean,
it comes up and just keep
yeah.
playing and playing.
I
Very
mean,
good.
that muscle has atrophied so much
Yeah.
that you'll hurt yourself if you
Yeah.
go full tilt.
Yeah.
I mean, so like just baby steps into it
Yeah.
and see what happens. And you know what? If that changes, you got a new and great. That and is a container. And as long as something's in the middle, then you've got a rock. It's the eye of the hurricane, if you will. Let
Yeah.
everything else crazy happen all around you. Just keep you solid and
Yeah.
keep you there.
Yeah. So important, especially, yeah, so important. I love, yeah, it's so good. How do we find out more about you, John? Where do we get buy your book from? Yeah. How do we find out more?
Sure, yeah. The book's on Amazon, Barnes and Noble, Bookshop, all the websites. It's on Audible as well, me reading the book. So in case you want to hear this voice reading it for you,
I might
there you
enjoy that
go.
actually.
And then the yeah, whatsyourand.com is the book and the podcast, or you can go to thejohngarrett.com as well for a lot of the speaking and the coaching and the connected culture system as well. They're all interconnected. But yeah, and
Amazing.
connect on LinkedIn. I'm starting to post a lot more there.
Yeah.
So love to
Good.
reach out and connect with people and yeah, appreciate being a part of this. So thanks so much, B.
No, thank you. And I just want to call out on LinkedIn. We need that. We need the people like yourself and myself as well. That, when they're zigging, you're zagging, you're coming in and going, hang on a second. What's your,
You're right.
like we need more of that. And
Yeah.
I'm just like encouraging more of that because it's so
Well, thank
important.
you.
Like just to remind
Yeah.
everyone that, guys, we're not we're not saving lives on LinkedIn here, with the greatest respect. It's just let's just get
Yeah.
back to what being humans again. Like let's get back to that, shall we?
Yeah. Sometimes you need a canary in the coal mine and a little bit of a counter
Yeah,
narrative
yeah,
person to be like,
yeah,
I don't know about that, everybody. Hold
yeah,
on,
yeah.
type of thing. Yeah.
Anyway, we could have a whole conversation about that. But no,
Yeah.
I love everything about what you're doing, John, and thank you so much. And you've got me thinking about, expressing my and even more this year. So yeah, let's see what happens.
Fantastic.
Maybe we'll
Yeah. Well, thank
reconnect
you.
at the end of the year and see where we're both at and how it's gone with the guardrails off. So thank
There
you.
we go.
Yeah,
I love that. Thank you so much, B.
yeah, no, thank you. Take care. Thanks.